Hello, hello, hello. How are you all doing today? Hello. Happy Monday. Welcome to Montessori Mondays with me, Holly. Let me know you're here with me live. If you're watching on the replay, hashtag replay. I am so excited for today's talk. It's something I wanted to talk about for a while, but we've just been so busy with the challenge and all of these things inside of this group. So I'm happy to be talking about our topic today. So if you're joining me live, let me know in the comments if you're here on a replay, hashtag replay. And also, let me know how old your child is, right? Let me know how old your child is. So while I'm talking today, I can kind of give you guys some individualized tips depending on how old the kids are of the people watching live. All right, so this week, I am back to talk to you guys about how you can easily be practicing Montessori while we are stuck at home, right? So let me ask you guys first, how many of you joined me for the 4 days to a Montessori home challenge last week? Let me know in the comments how many of you joined us for that. Last week during the challenge, we focused on creating a prepared environment in your main living space or the area for work or movement. And this is the perfect place to get started when you're bringing Montessori into your home. But now, if you went through this challenge with us, you might be thinking, what about all the other spaces in my Montessori home? And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about how to easily prepare some of these other spaces in your home, as well as practice some other Montessori aspects. So let me just see here. Hello. We have someone joining us with a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 9-month-old. Awesome. I'm just going to quickly run to this Facebook group and make sure the video is up. It should be in the announcements. Cool. Felicia, hey. Yazella, hi Holly, my child is 12 months. Awesome. Tanny, we missed the challenge, but we've been through it before. Yes, Felicia, I remember you from last time. Okay, cool. And your child's 17 months old. Good. So it's a good range of children here. So I will keep that in mind as we go forward. And I do just want to kind of dive in today because I know we're all really busy, where I feel like, this stay-at-home time, when I first got started, I was like, oh, more time. My husband will be home, more time to relax, more time, but it hasn't really been that way. It's actually been more busy than before. Is that the same way for anybody else? So I thought this might be the perfect time for this particular topic because there are some things that you can do in your home. There are 3 main ways, actually, that I'm going to talk about today that you can easily and naturally bring Montessori into your home. So the first way is to prepare your environment. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we did talk about this in great detail in the 4 days to a Montessori home challenge. So if you haven't already, you can go back and watch those videos here inside of this Facebook group. You can click on the announcements or the unit section, 4 days to a Montessori home challenge, and check those out. But those are all about preparing your main living space or the area for work for your child. And today I want to focus on not only your main living space, but also your other spaces in your home, right? So this can definitely sound intimidating and overwhelming, but once you get going, you will start to see things with Montessori eyes, as we like to say, right? So there are some simple changes that you can make in your home to create an environment where your child will be able to develop independence and confidence easily, okay? And that's what we all want, right? We're all trying to grow these independent and confident children as much as possible in every area possible, right? So looking at things from your child's perspective is the first tip that I want to talk about today. So when you are preparing your environments, this is what you want to do. Let's focus on the bathroom so I can give you some examples here. If you have a child who is ready to start, say, stand-up diaper changing Or if they're ready to start using the toilet and ready for some more bathroom independence, you can go into your bathroom and crouch down, right? Get down to their level and have a look up and see what it looks like from their perspective, right? And this is something that you really have to stop and think and do, right? You don't just naturally think, oh, I'm going to go look at this room from my child's perspective and see what they see. You have to actually do it on purpose, right? Hopefully that makes sense. So you can look up and see, okay, I can't reach the faucet, so I can't turn on the sink. I cannot reach my toothbrush, so I can't get brushing my teeth independently is not going to happen. I can't flush the toilet. I'm too short to flush the toilet. So you can look at those things, can't turn on the light, all of the things in your bathroom that you want your child to independently do, you need to look at from their perspective to see if they can actually do that. And then if they can't, you can add some aids for independence. Now, these are things such as a stool. So perhaps your child is a bit older, like 2 years old, then you might only need a one-step stool. But if your child is 12 months, like we have someone here today, you might need a two-step stool because they're still too short for a one-step stool to be able to access the sink, perhaps. And another way you can do it, we have lots and lots of examples inside of this Facebook group and on the blog, thistoddlerlife.com. But you can also create one of the self-help stations, which basically brings everything on a kitchen sink down to your child's level by creating a place for them to have their own belongings and water access in the bathroom or area for physical care. So making sure that you look at things through your child's perspective is so, so important. And going through each environment, the area for feeding in your kitchen or the area for sleep in your child's bedroom, do they need a stool to sit on to get dressed? Is that going to aid them to independence? So going through each of these environments and looking at them from your child's perspective and then making the observations where these aids of independence can be added will help your child develop their independence so, so much. So now this is just a quick tip to get you moving in the right direction. And once you add these aids for independence, you will be able to easily observe your child and then follow their lead, like we've been talking about in the 4 Days to a Montessori Home Challenge. And just a reminder, those challenge videos that are up in the Montessori Toddlers Facebook group right now will be moving to the Montessori Learning Center on April 30th. So if you haven't watched them, please go watch them before April 30th when they move to the Montessori Learning Center, which also has an amazing amount of other resources as well. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Can you start to make an effort to look at things from your child's perspective? Let me know in the comments, what areas of your home have you already prepared? Did you go through the 4-day challenge and prepare your main living space? Or have you put a self-help station in the kitchen or in the bathroom? What areas of your home would you like to prepare? Let me know in the comments, and I'm going to quickly go through them. I can see you guys are talking to me over here. Okay, yes, more busy. Yes, so it's crazy, isn't it? Yes, I agree. So hectic. Yeah. I totally thought it would have been the opposite, but guess not. From WA, my son is 22 months. Hello, hello. Almost 4-year-old girl and 6 months baby girl. You have the same age gap as us, where my daughter's she's 4.5 now, and then my son's 18 months. So I think that's the same. I'm not going to try to do that math right now. Felicia, yes, we really need to know about the other spaces. He still barely plays in the living room, even with the Montessori setup. Do you guys hang out in the living room a lot, or do you hang out in a different area a lot? Put yourself in your child's shoes to see what they see. Yes. Hi, Samay. You've joined us in the Montessori Learning Center. Excited that you're here with us. We put a coat rack in the front hallway at my son's level and added a seat for putting on shoes and stuff. Awesome. That is so good, Felicia. I love hearing that. You're totally following your child's lead there. That's awesome. You must live somewhere cold because we don't have coat racks here. We don't even really need coats. Okay, I have a 13-month-old boy. I started a rotation toy area and a play area in our living room. Awesome. That is such such a good start to Montessori is getting that main living space and that play area set up. Felicia, we don't. Mostly spend time in the bedroom, so maybe we need to station up there. Yes, exactly. And I think when we say the area for work, because in the Montessori, there's 4 areas in your prepared home environment: the area for work, the area for feeding, the area for physical care, and the area for sleep. So you have those 4 areas. So wherever you're doing your work or you're spending your most time, it doesn't have to be your main living space, but that's where you want those shelves to be. And physical care, for instance, as a child is changing between using or having diapers changed for them on, say, a changing table, that's probably going to be in the bedroom, right, for a while, and then that switches to the bathroom when they start wanting that toilet independence. So these places can move and change. It doesn't always have to be in the same room. Yes, New York. Yes. That is probably a bit chillier than I would prefer. Let's see. Living spaces prepped. My son can't walk yet. I think he's too young for a kitchen bathroom space. Yes, probably too young for that. And as I just said, the area for physical care, if he's not walking yet, is probably still on a changing mat. So when he's standing independently, you can start stand-up diaper changes. That's totally up to you if you want to do that. But then you can start moving things to the bathroom then. Gisela, I'm about to set up a bathroom space and start with toilet training, so it's really helpful what you just said about the bathroom space. Play area in the living room is ready. I need urgently a stool or tower in the kitchen now. Yes. I know if you, I don't know, every child's different, right? But you can get, I'm in Australia and this is Kmart, but you can get a stool. I think you can get them at IKEA too for like $20 or something. Just those 2-step stools. And then you can DIY a learning tower around it, or you can just leave it as the 2-step stool. My 18-month-old just uses that now. He doesn't even use his learning tower anymore, but I think it's because he's a second child. So he sees my 4-year-old using it and can figure it out without falling off too much. I added a step stool in front of the sink and a sink faucet extender so she can wash her hands. That is so good. That's awesome to hear. Yes, Felicia, 4 main areas. Yes. Great. I'm in Australia too. Yes. I think it's a 2-step stool from Kmart. I think it's a little bit cheaper than IKEA. I think it was like $20. So cheap. Okay. Yes, I know, Felicia. When she said we need like 12 stools for all around the house. Yeah, basically you need at least 1 per room, I think. That's what we only have 2 right now. So we have 1 in the area for sleep and we have 1 in the bath. No, that's wrong. We have 3. We have 1 the learning tower in the kitchen too. So yeah, yes, they add up quickly, don't they? All right, so let me just get back here because I have some more awesome things to tell you guys. We're talking about 3 main ways. So first we talked about preparing your environment. Now this next easy and natural way to bring Montessori into your home is simply by following some of the Montessori principles. So I know you guys have heard some of these, but there are many, many principles when it comes to Montessori. But if you can just bring these few that I'm going to talk about now into your home is going to dramatically change, right? If you're going from not practicing Montessori to practicing these 3 Montessori principles, you will see some big, big changes. One Montessori principle we already talked about is the prepared environment. And now here are 3 more Montessori principles that I'd like to talk about now. Following the child's lead. Now this is, I think, probably the most iconic Montessori principle is following the child's lead. It's the reason I fell in love with Montessori. Montessori follows the unique child, right? So it doesn't just say every 3-year-old should be writing their name or, anything like that, any grand statement like that. Instead, it says, let's look at your child, let's observe them, and let's see what they're interested in, and then let's do those things. So we're going to follow the child's lead, and I absolutely 100% agree and love this principle. The next is respect for the child. Now, this is the Montessori principle that gave me my Montessori aha moment. And if you joined us in the challenge or heard me talk ever, you've probably heard me talk about this aha moment before. But basically, I gave my child respect when she was about 8 months old. While I was changing her diaper, I was telling her things like, I'm going to be lifting your legs now to wipe your bum. Can you help me lift your legs? And I was respecting my child instead of just doing it to her and not explaining it. And in a few diaper changes, she was gone from wiggling around, wiggling all over madly, to actually helping me by lifting her legs. And we went from, nightmare diaper change time to a collaborative event, right? So it was my Montessori aha moment. And from that moment on, I wanted to learn everything, right? And the third Montessori principle that I think will change your life is freedom within limits, right? So following your child's lead doesn't mean that he is always right and that he's going to do whatever he wants, right? Because I think that's what some people think about Montessori looking in. They aren't going to just do whatever they want all day long because you're just going to let your child dictate the day, right? But instead, it means that you're going to observe your child, and using that freedom within limits, you're going to give them new materials or new activities to make sure that he stays engaged and he is building that concentration skill, right? So in fact, if you can follow your child's lead into toilet learning, like we were talking about earlier, there are a number of signs that you can watch out for if your child is ready for toilet independence. And when you see those signs and you start to introduce your child into the toilet area, then your child is showing you what they're interested in. You're following their lead, right? You're following their lead by watching for those signs and then following through and giving them what they need. So hopefully that makes sense for you guys. Let me know in the comments. I know a freedom within limits and can often be how I explain Montessori to people who are just getting started, because following your child's lead sounds kind of like they get to do whatever they want. A freedom within limits really caps that, right? So you're not going to give your child a choice to wear whatever they want if it's snowing outside, right? You might give them a choice to wear a few different things that are appropriate in that weather. So a freedom within limits. Okay, so do you think it's something that you can start to incorporate in your home? Let me know. Can you incorporate those principles in your home? And hopefully this makes sense, because inside the Montessori Learning Center, we have an entire stage dedicated to this, to the Montessori mindsets, right? And oftentimes they're easily overlooked by those shiny wooden toys and sparkly prepared environments. And we just get overwhelmed with all of those beautiful spaces. But when it comes right down to it, Montessori principles and mindsets are the foundation of every single Montessori home and every single Montessori classroom. So once you start practicing those, things will start clicking for you and your family. Okay. So have you been incorporating any of these Montessori principles already at home? Let me know in the comments. And I'm going to quickly scoot over the comments because I can see them rolling in here. Yes, we can. Awesome, Felicia. Yes, definitely. Awesome. And honestly, it doesn't have to be, I just feel like Montessori gets such a bad rap, especially when you start. It can be very overwhelming. So I want to make sure that these are just things you can do all the time without having to really think about it so much. So now this last tip in bringing Montessori easily and naturally into your home is going to be about practical life. So who's heard of practical life? I'm going to assume a lot of you have here inside this particular Facebook group. So I'm sure you've heard the term before, and some of you might have started out hearing it as something like chores. So as a parent of young children, it can be very easy for us to consider chores or practical life skills not acceptable. So I mean, when you think about it, you don't really see a 2-year-old mopping floors outside of Montessori, right? You don't really see other young children doing these type of activities. And the idea isn't to actually have the child who knows how to mop the floor perfectly. It's actually satisfying an inner need that they have to participate in these household chores or these practical life skills, right? You absolutely 100% have to favor the process over the product, because no, you won't have a perfectly washed dish after a 1-year-old is at the sink washing dishes, right? It's much more about having really satisfying their inner need to be a part of the family. And these types of practical life activities are another foundational Montessori experience for a child between the ages of 1 to 3 who are we really to deny them of these experiences, right? I think a lot of times, a lot of parents just think, oh, well, my child shouldn't be doing chores so early. Like, why would I let them do, dishes? But it's not about having a perfectly clean dish. It's about allowing them to be a part of the family. And inside the Montessori Learning Center, we have entire workshops built around the importance of this topic. And I know a lot of the times we put restrictions on our child without meaning to. So it's always great to have a place where you can go for new ideas and age-appropriate activities to introduce to your child. So let me know in the comments now if you've been practicing practical life activities in your home already. And if your child has a favorite, let me know. I actually this morning just bring out our window washing squirt bottle practical life activity. And that's definitely a favorite in our house. So I'm sure when I get off this call, my windows will be dirtier than they started out this morning. So now, guys, you guys have heard me talk about the Montessori Learning Center a little bit today, and I want to talk a little bit more about it because I want to invite you guys inside of the Montessori Learning Center. If you did join me for the challenge, you know that the Montessori Learning Center is closing its doors on April 30th. So I want to make sure you're able to check it out before the doors close. I also wanted to let you know that today there is a special bonus called the mini home assessment that you can grab for signing up with our lifetime plan today. Now this will be perfect for anyone who wants to create a Montessori home easily and naturally. Basically, a mini home assessment is your chance to show some photos and videos of your home, and we get to go through it together. We make changes that work for your unique family, right? We're going to follow your family's lead. And this is an awesome training, guys, because I want to give you the chance to grab this. There's only 20 spots available for this training, and most of them are already spoken for. Today is the last day that you can grab this training, and unfortunately, once I'm booked out because it is a one-on-one training. I don't have heaps and heaps of extra time. So like I said, I wanted to mention this extra training to you guys because it's an amazing deal. The full home assessment is $197. So grabbing this mini home assessment and the Montessori Learning Center resources is a steal. So now, if you are interested in grabbing this special bonus, you have to do so before midnight tonight. Like I said, it will no longer be available after that. And I'm going to go ahead and add the link into the comments now so you guys can check out the details. Also, let me know if you guys have any other questions for me about today's live. Montessori Monday's live show. Okay, let me add this link quick, and then I will get to you guys' questions. That's the right one. All right. So let's see. What questions do you guys have for me? Only having one child in the home makes letting him lead super fluid. Yes. Practical life, we heard from you. And honestly, we just rolled with it and worked so well for our family. He loves it. Awesome, Felicia. I'm so glad that you guys are incorporating that. I'm guessing after the last challenge, maybe. Today, I couldn't open the videos as the Learning Center. Also, May, send me a private message. I'm not sure why you wouldn't be able to open the videos. Do you mean the challenge videos? Because I haven't uploaded them into the Montessori Learning Center quite yet. Felicia, vacuuming and sweeping. We just got him a small set so I can get things done too. That's awesome. And it's so good when they help and so they feel like they're doing what you're doing as well. So that's nice that you got him some materials for that. I think it's a good idea to put a towel on the floor in front of the kitchen sink if the child is going to wash dishes because there's more water going out on the sink, inside the sink, at least with my daughter. Yes, 100%, 100%. I remember when my daughter was, oh gosh, she must have been about 2. We had the learning tower. I would put a towel in between her and the sink, the learning tower and the sink, and then I would put one underneath the learning tower as well. She definitely got everything wet. Luckily, we live pretty much every home in this town has tiles, so I'm happy about that. Yeah, we have done window cleaning, sweeping the floor. He takes his plates to the table and back to the kitchen after meals. Awesome. Samantha, hello. My son loves working up messes. In fact, he will purposely dump his cup just to wipe it up. Oh my gosh, that is funny. Yes, I'm lucky that my son likes to clean up his messes as well. But I don't think he's actually purposely made a mess to clean it up yet. So that's a new one. Okay. Let me make sure you guys don't have any questions for me today. So I'll just recap here our tips for today to easily practice Montessori while we're home and while we were supposed to be having, rest time and we're actually feeling more busy being stuck at home. You can do these quick things to remember bringing Montessori into your family. So we have preparing your home environment and looking at your child's view, right? Getting down and looking from your child's perspective when you are preparing your child's environment. What can they reach? What do they need to reach? What do they need to have access to make an independent task, right, happen? So next we have the Montessori principles. Follow your child's lead. We had freedom within limits, and then we had respect for the child. So if you can bring those to the forefront of your mind and think about those as you introduce new activities to your child and think about new ways to engage with your child, that would be really helpful moving forward. And the third and final tip is practical life, right? This is by far the easiest thing that you can do to practice Montessori activities and material wise. You don't have to go out and buy a whole new shelf full of materials. You don't even have to buy a shelf. You literally could just allow your child to help you in the things that you're doing every day. And that's why practical life is so good. And it's so amazing for the children because it's accepting them into your family and allowing them to have an active role in participating in being a part of your family. Looks like we have one more question, and I will go ahead and sign off for today. When we are cleaning, my daughter wants to help, but always asks for a broom, vacuum, or whatever we are using, but as a toy. Like we are mopping, and she says, I want a toy mop. What should I do? We don't want to buy a toy for everything. Is she maybe asking for a smaller version? Yes, and that is another kind of Montessori principle, is using child-size materials or child-size furniture. So definitely, obviously, you can just think of that as your example here. A mop, an adult-size mop is not something that a child can easily handle, but it is something they can handle. A small mop, a child-size mop, right? And they just want to be doing what you're doing, and they want that connection and they want to collaborate with you. They want to help, right? So if you can get them that child-sized mop, that's great. Otherwise, maybe you could think about mopping other ways. Do you have a bucket with some water, soapy water, and a towel, and they can mop the floor on their hands and knees, right? And with their hands. So there isn't a necessary to go out and buy every single last thing, right? You can think of other ways to be doing these things so you don't have to end up buying everything. Yes, Felicia, Melissa, and Doug have a nice child-sized set. Yes. Whoever was on the call with me earlier, who is from Australia, do not buy the Kmart cleaning set. It's horrible. It's a play set, so it's meant to be a play set, not actually used. But I found that out the hard way. It was not a Melissa and Doug worthy set. Okay, Samantha, we have started having my son eat at the coffee table on a kiddie chair since our apartment doesn't have room for a real table. How do you suggest we get him to sit and eat instead of walking around with his food? So this is often a freedom within limits, right? So we can think of going back to what we talked about today. You have a freedom to sit at a table without being strapped into a high chair, but it's within limits, right? You have to be sitting down when you're eating. One way that we do this with our child, 18 months, this is prime time for that to be happening, is if he gets up and starts walking around with his food, I just say, it looks like you're done eating. Are you full? And if he says no, I say you need to sit down while you're eating. If he doesn't want to sit down, then I take the food away, and I take it as the fact that he is full and he no longer wants the food, whether it's snack or dinner or breakfast or lunch. And the more I don't want to say firm, but the more consistent you are with this boundary of saying the same things and being firm with it and being consistent with it, then the faster the quicker they will understand that if they want to eat, they need to be sitting down at their table. Okay, cool. Love the idea. Thanks, you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I'm glad you guys were able to hang out and learn a few easy, simple ways to practice Montessori in the home while we're all stuck being crazy busy. It is funny. It's like ironic. We're all at home, but we're all so busy, right? Anyways, I'm so glad you guys were able to join me today. I love these Montessori Monday live shows with you guys. I love to be able to come on and talk to you guys like this. It's such a great way for me to kind of get to know you all better. And I'll be back on May 11th. So next week we have an off week, but May 11th, I'll be back to talk about some more Montessori Monday material with you guys. And I look forward to seeing you guys hopefully in the Montessori Learning Center with me. All right. Bye-bye.